the German cases, which is nominative, accusative, and dative. In German, nouns, pronouns, and articles change depending on their role in the sentence. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to form a solid foundation to build grammatically correct sentences in German. Now let's understand the dative case. Now nominative is who condition, accusative is what condition, but dative is to whom or for whom condition, and it is the indirect object. Now these are pure dative verbs. If you find these verbs in any sentence, there is 100% chance that you will find to whom condition. You will find the dative case in that sentence. Now let's see the comparison of the three cases, okay? Hallo zusammen. Willkommen zu Ihrem Deutschkurs mit GNC Language School. Hello everyone. Welcome to your German class with GNC Language School. Today, we are covering one of the most important and most powerful grammar topics in German, the German cases, which is nominative, accusative, and dative. In German, it is Nominativ, Akkusativ, und Dativ. In German, nouns, pronouns, and articles change depending on their role in the sentence. This is called the case system or casus. There are four cases in German, but today we'll be focusing on the three most commonly used ones, like nominative, accusative, and dative. Nominative is the subject who is doing the action. Accusative is the direct object, what is being affected, and dative is to whom or for whom. Example is, der Mann gibt dem Kind einen Ball. Here, the man is the subject, Ball is the direct object, and Kind is the indirect object. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to form a solid foundation to build grammatically correct sentences in German and finally make sense of why der sometimes becomes den or dame. Let's get started with nominative, accusative, and dative and unlock the structure behind German sentences. First of all, we'll focus on the nominative case. Nominative is the subject. Subject is someone who does the action, who does the verb. Okay, the doer. The doer is the subject. Okay, and the subject is nominative in German. You have to ask the question who. Who is doing the action? Who is running? I am running. So I am the doer. Who is cooking? He is cooking. So he is the doer. He is the subject. Okay. So personal pronouns like I, you, he, she, it, all of them are the subjects. Okay. And the article for nominative is der, die, das, die. Now we have done definite article and indefinite article in nominative case. This was the definite article and this was the indefinite article. Now for masculine, it is der, feminine, it is die, neutral, it is das, and plural, it is die. So definite article is the, right? The, and indefinite article is a or an in German. So in nominative, doer is the subject. We have to ask the question, who is doing the action? Okay, we have to identify who is doing the action. And then there are articles like der, die, das, die, and indefinite articles like ein, eine, ein. Okay, so let's see the example. Masculine is der Mann in nominative, okay, which means the man, and ein Mann, which is indefinite article in nominative, which is a man, okay. Feminine is die Frau, which is the woman, and eine Frau. Neutral is das Kind, which is the child, and indefinite article is ein Kind, a child. Plural is die Hunde, the dogs, and keine Hunde is no dogs. Okay, so German has no indefinite article for plural because kein here means no or not any. Okay, now let's focus on the accusative case. Now, nominative is the who condition, who is doing the action. Okay, the doer. Accusative is the direct object. What is being done? So we have to focus on what question, what. What is the doer doing? What is being done? Okay. If I say I cook noodle, ich koche Nudel. So who is cooking? Who will be the nominative, the doer. And what? What is the direct object? So accusative is what? So what is the doer cooking? What is the doer doing? Noodle. Noodle is accusative case here, okay? So accusative is the direct object, okay? It receives action, like accusative case receive the action. What is being done by the subject? That's what I said, okay? The doer is cooking the noodle, right? So what is being done? Noodle is being cooked. So noodle is accusative. Now let's see the example. Ich sehe den Hund. I see the dog. Now who is seeing? Ich. So ich is who condition, that is nominative. And what is The doer doing what? So he's seeing the dog. So dog here is the direct object. He's the accusative case here. Okay. Definite article in accusative is den, d, das, d. Okay. Nominative is der, d, das, d. Right? See here. Der, d, das, d. But accusative becomes den, d, das, d. The change is only for the masculine here. Der changes to den. Okay. Der changes to den. Feminine remains same, dd. Neutral remains same, das, das. Plural also remains same, dd. Only the nominative der will become den in accusative. Okay. For definite article, it is den, die, das, die. Indefinite article, it is einen, eine, ein. Okay. Nominative is ein, eine, ein, but accusative is einen, eine, ein. Here also masculine is changing to einen. Rest everything is same. For plural, we don't put anything because plural is always more than one. So there is no indefinite article for plural in any case. Okay. Now let's understand the dative case. Now nominative is who condition. Accusative is what condition. But dative is to whom or for whom condition, and it is the indirect object. Okay. Who receive the direct object in a sentence. Okay. Receives the direct object in a sentence. So you have to ask the question to whom or for whom. Okay. So this will help you identify who is receiving the action or object. Okay. Now article becomes dem, der, dem, den for definite article, and indefinite article it is einem, einer, einem. It changes completely. Okay. If you see here, nominative is der, die, das, die, right? Dative becomes dem, der, dem, den. Okay. Dem for masculine, der for feminine, dem for neutral, and den for plural. And here it becomes einem, einer, einem. Nominative it is ein, eine, ein, but dative becomes einem for masculine, einer for feminine, einem for neutral. You always have to remember that dative also have few verbs which are pure dative verbs like helfen, danken, gehören, gratulieren. If those verbs are there in the sentence, then also the case becomes dative because those verbs fulfill the condition to whom and for whom. All right. Now you know that dative is indirect object. It is to whom or for whom condition. Now these are pure dative verbs. If you find these verbs in any sentence, there is 100% chance that you will find to whom condition. You will find the dative case in that sentence. What are cases? Cases are nouns or pronouns. Okay. So accusative, nominative and dative can only be noun or a pronoun. Okay. So now let's see. Helfen is a dative verb, which means it fulfill the condition to whom. These are pure dative verbs. Whenever these verbs are there in any sentence, they will fulfill to whom condition, and you will definitely find a dative case. That means a noun or a pronoun should be dative there. Now let's see how. Ich helfe dem Kind. So helfen is a dative verb. It's there in this sentence and it is fulfilling to whom condition. To whom are you helping, right? Helfen is to help, and you help someone always. So the condition is to whom? To the child here, right? The child here is a noun. Noun becomes dative. How will it become dative? It will take the dative article dem, which we learned in the table. So ich helfe dem Kind. I help the child. To whom? To the child. Now child is noun. It is a dative case here. The next is danken. Danken is to thank. Wir danken der Lehrerin. Okay. To whom are you thanking? To the teacher. So all these verbs fulfill to whom condition. That's why they are pure dative verb. Whenever these verbs are there, you should have the dative case in that sentence. Okay. Dative cases are what? Noun or a pronoun should be dative. So here Lehrerin is a noun and we have a danken verb in this sentence. So Lehrerin becomes dative case and it is actually die Lehrerin, and in dative it becomes der Lehrerin. That's what we did in the table, right? Wir danken der Lehrerin. We thank the teacher. The next is folgen. Folgen is to follow. You always follow someone. To whom? Yeah, the condition is to whom, and that is a dative case. So der Hund folgt dem Mann. Okay, der Hund folgt dem Mann. Who is following? Who is which condition? Nominative. The Hund. Nominative is the doer. Who conjugates the verb? Here, Hund is conjugating folgt. Folgt. That's why T ending, right? Der Hund folgt dem Mann. Now to whom? To whom is he following? He is following the man, right? So it is fulfilling to whom condition, which is dative case. So der Mann becomes dem Mann in dative. Der Hund folgt dem Mann. The dog follows the man. The next is gefallen, which is to like or to please. Das Buch gefällt mir. Now, what did I tell you? The cases are either a noun or a pronoun. Okay. Accusative, nominative, and dative cases are either a noun or a pronoun. So, gefallen is a dative verb, which is to whom condition. Now, mir here is dative pronoun. Because of gefallen verb, there is a dative pronoun in this sentence. That is what I said. When there is a dative verb in a sentence, you should have a dative case in that sentence. It could be a noun or a pronoun. So I like the book is Das Buch gefällt mir. Next is gehören, which means to belong. To whom does something belong to? Something or someone. Das Auto gehört meinem Vater. To whom? To my father. So this is dative case. It is fulfilling dative condition and there is a dative verb in this sentence. Next is glauben. Glauben is to believe. To whom do you believe? Again a dative condition. So dear. Ich glaube dir. I believe you. Glauben is a dative verb which makes the pronoun here dative case, right? So it is dear in dative. The next one is antworten, which means to answer. To whom are you answering? Again, all these are to whom condition. All these verbs are to whom condition. They are pure dative verbs. Sie antwortet dem Lehrer. Sie antwortet dem Lehrer. She answers the teacher. Okay. Now to whom? To the teacher. So der Lehrer becomes dem in dative. And who is doing it? Who is answering? Who is the nominative case? Always remember who is nominative, what is accusative, and to whom and for whom is dative condition, dative case. Next is passieren, which is to happen. Das passiert mir oft. That happens to me often. Okay. To whom? To me. Now, mir is a pronoun, dative pronoun. Because of passieren, there is a dative case in this sentence, which is mir. Okay, always remember accusative, nominative, and dative are either a noun or a pronoun. They are cases. Okay, they are not time, adverb, adjective, verb. They are noun or pronoun. They are cases. Next is schaden. Schaden is to harm. Rauchen schadet der Gesundheit. Okay, smoking harms the health. Now, because of schaden, Gesundheit here becomes dative. So it is actually die Gesundheit, feminine, but in dative it is der Gesundheit. Next is stehen. Stehen is to suit or look good on. Das Kleid steht dir gut. Okay, das Kleid steht dir gut. The dress looks good on you. Okay, so dir here is dative pronoun because of the stehen verb here. Next is geben. Geben is to give. Ich gebe dem Kind ein Geschenk. Once again, ich gebe dem Kind ein Geschenk. I give the child a gift. To whom are you giving? To the child. So obviously child here is dative case because of the geben verb. And Geschenk is what condition? What? What is accusative? And who is giving? I am giving. Ish here is nominative. In this sentence, all three cases are there. And they are either a noun or a pronoun. So ish is a pronoun, nominative. Who condition? Kind is a noun. To whom condition? It is dative case. Geschenk is again a noun. What condition? So it is accusative. Now let's see the comparison of the three cases, okay? We have done it already, but we are revising it again for you, okay? Now, these are definite article in nominative, accusative, and dative, and these are indefinite article in nominative, accusative, and dative. Nominative is der, die, das, die. So, der Mann, die Frau, das Kind, die Kinder. Accusative is den, die, das, die. Remember that. Den is different only. Rest everything is same. Den, die, das, die. Den Mann, die Frau, das Kind, die Kinder. Dative is dem, der, dem, den plus n. N is at the back of the noun. Dem, der, dem, den plus n. Dem Mann, der Frau, dem Kind, den Kindern. Now, indefinite article in nominative is ein Mann, eine Frau, ein Kind, keine Kinder. Okay, ein. Accusative is einen, eine. Okay, einen Mann, eine Frau, ein Kind, keine Kinder. Next is dative, which is einem, einer, einem. Einem Mann, einer Frau, einem Kind, keinen Kindern. Always remember this. Der, die, das, die, den, die, das, die, dem, der, dem, den, plus n. That's how you have to remember the definite article table. An indefinite article table is ein, einen, einem, einer, einem. You have to remember these two tables to make correct sentences with correct cases. Okay. Now let's see the examples. Now nominative is what? The subject, the doer who does the action, who conjugates the verb. If you don't understand what is nominative in a sentence, you just see the verb. Whoever is conjugating the verb will be nominative, will be the subject, because subject always conjugate the verb. And always remember, nominative, accusative and dative are either a noun or a pronoun. Der Lehrer erklärt die Lektion. The teacher explains the lesson, okay? Der Lehrer erklärt die Lektion. Who is explaining? The teacher. So teacher here is nominative. Next is die Katze schläft auf dem Sofa. The cat sleeps on the sofa. Die Katze schläft auf dem Sofa. Who is sleeping? The cat. So nominative is always who condition. So die Katze is nominative case here, and it is a noun also here. So noun and pronoun. Okay, cases are noun or pronoun. Next is das Auto ist sehr schnell. The car is very fast. Das Auto ist sehr schnell. Auto here is nominative case. Next is accusative example, which is direct object, which is what condition. What? Ich kaufe den Apfel. What am I buying? I am buying the apple. So also with den you get to know that it is accusative, right? Den Apfel. I buy the apple. Ich kaufe den Apfel. What I buy? I buy the apple. Den Apfel is accusative. Sie liest die Zeitung. Sie liest die Zeitung. She reads the newspaper. Who is reading? Who is nominative? She. She is reading. And what is she reading? She is reading the newspaper. Die Zeitung. Die Zeitung here is accusative case. Next is wir sehen das Haus. We see the house. Who is seeing? We. Who is nominative? And what we are seeing? We are seeing the house. House is accusative case. It is either a noun or a pronoun. Okay, house is a noun here. Wir sehen das Haus. Next is dative example. Dative is indirect object. Ich gebe dem Kind ein Geschenk. I give the child a gift. To whom am I giving? To the child. So child becomes dative. Dem Kind is dative. Sie hilft der Frau mit den Taschen. She helps the woman with the bag. You also have to observe the verbs in dative case. We have done the pure dative verbs. Those are dative verbs, okay? If you find these verbs in a sentence, you will definitely find a dative case. Sie hilft der Frau mit den Taschen. Der Frau here is dative case. To whom condition, and who is helping? She. This is nominative case. She is nominative. Next is wir schreiben dem Lehrer einen Brief. To whom are we writing? To the teacher. So teacher here becomes dative. We write the teacher a letter. Wir schreiben dem Lehrer einen Brief. Now who is writing? We. So we becomes nominative. And what are we doing? What are we writing? We are writing the letter. So brief, einen Brief becomes accusative here. Einen also will let you know that it is accusative case, right? If you know the table well, by looking at the article only, you'll understand which case is it, okay? Now let's see the combined example where all the three cases are mentioned. Der Mann gibt der Frau die Blumen. Now everything is mentioned here. Man is who? Who is giving? Man, nominative. To whom? To the lady, to the woman, which is dative, to whom condition. And what? What is he giving? He's giving the flowers. Flowers is accusative. What condition? The man gives the woman the flower. Der Mann gibt der Frau die Blumen. Next is die Mutter, which is nominative. It is conjugating the verb also, and it is who condition. Die Mutter kauft dem Kind ein Spielzeug. The mother buys the child a toy. Mutter is nominative. Who is buying? Mother is buying. For whom? For the child. So dem Kind will be dative case, and dem will let you know about it, right? If you know the table well, der, die, das, die wala table, you will definitely know the cases well. And toy is what? Object. It is direct object. Spielzeug. It is accusative case here. Next is der Student, zeigt dem Professor die Hausaufgabe. The student shows the professor the homework. Now, who is showing? The student. Who is nominative. To whom? To whom is he showing? To the professor, which is dative case here. And what is he showing? He is showing the Hausaufgabe, the homework. It is accusative, okay? Always remember who, what, and to whom condition. Always remember the table, der, die, das, die, den, die, das, die. And always remember nominative, accusative, and dative are either a noun or a pronoun. They are cases, okay? Either a noun or a pronoun. Don't confuse them with adjective, adverb, verbs, okay? They are either a noun or a pronoun. Now, these are some exercises for you to do. Please practice them, take a screenshot, practice them, and comment down in the comment section below. I will check it for you. All right. I hope accusative, nominative, and dative cases are clear to you now. I hope you like the video. I'll see you in the next one. Danke.